Tell you what, I'll move the dice tower off of the desk that the mic is on, and I'll spare people that.
All right. Well, hi everybody. Happy holidays. Welcome to Quill and Sword. We do not have Doug with us. I'm not sure what happened there, but we've got the three. We've got our three right now. Robin is still out because new parent things, and we wish them all the love, all the support, everything. It is our episode just before the holidays. We're all super excited. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you to my players for being here.
Thank you for hosting. I know that this preparation probably takes a lot longer for you than it does for us, and it is the holiday season, so thank you to Steven, everyone.
Not as much prep as you might think. I'm not gonna lie, y'all do so many unexpected things half the time I'm flying by the seat of my pants.
That's fair.
So, speaking of unexpected things, we like to be immersed in the unexpected things, and the best way that we do that is with Syrinscape. We love Syrinscape. Shout out to Syrinscape. We use it all the time. It's great. I really recommend it to people. We're not sponsored. We just like it. So I'm going to start by rolling the handy-dandy D6 as a D3 to see who's going to start our recap from last time. Oh, that is MARISA.
Oh man. Okay, so we got back to the palace, and we saw in the window that the queen was there, but we had to struggle to get to the queen. I believe that happened.
Yes, that was a thing.
Yes, and so then we got inside the palace, and there was we kept finding tiny children that had been I can't remember what it's called, but basically soul sucked in some capacity.
What was it? Abdicated?
Abdicated.
That's the word.
Yeah.
That sounds better than soul sucked. So we kept finding them and picking them up, and Giselle was really concerned about that because she would try to have conversations with kids her age and could not, and didn't really understand what was going on. So that's when we realized that there was probably a lot more people to save. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to SENITA now, because that's all I really remember.
Oh. So I think after we found a few more wandering children, we wandered into the queen's suite to see where she was at. Wisps decided to go one route to investigate, whereas Anu and Nim stayed in her room to investigate. I found a diary explaining about her whereabouts and what was all going on. And when we all gathered back up, it was the right decision to go and look for who had taken the queen, which led us into, what was it? Ritual room?
It's something like that.
Yeah, into a ritual room. In which case, we found out exactly what happened to the queen. And I'm going to let Nathan finish it off.
Sorry, tiny pet peeve. Never Nathan.
Oh.
Be Nathaniel, never Nate, never Nathan.
Nathaniel. Sorry.
It's 3 syllables is a pain in the ass, I know. But, lifelong pet peeve. So, yeah, we encountered... Was it the queen's brother? Was that who it was? I'm trying to remember what this guy's connection with.
He was the bodyguard.
Man.
He was
it Sean?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Right hand.
Yeah.
Man.
So he had been draining the magic out of the children and claiming to do so for the protection of the city or the kingdom or some aggrandizing. I didn't let him finish. I attacked him because I was not in the mood to be monologued at.
That's fair.
And he got dead. Unfortunately, the blood spilled during the battle, which was mostly his, although Nim took a nasty hit in the process as well. But the blood activated the ritual that he had set up on the ground and basically created, your standard destructive sky beam scenario, ever expanding outwards and growing bigger. So we had to bolt, and we ended up splitting in completely different directions. I went and got the queen. Nim led the kids, and oh my god, why can't I think of names now?
Angelique.
Thank
Yes.
you. To a safe passage out, and Anu went looking for. You went for somebody else. Who did you go for?
The other prisoners.
Oh, that's right. The additional prisoners that we had not already been freed. And thanks to some incredibly lucky dice rolls, as well as making use of hoarded inspiration, we somehow all got out alive. When really, I think at least one of us by all rights should be dead. We managed to all. Well, yes, it's probably Nim,
Yeah.
but it could have been Wisp. Wisp was on the warpath in this one, and was not at their most cautious. But yeah, we all got out just in time for the castle to completely crumble in the magical blast. And yeah, that's where we're at, I think. I'm sure Steven will point out whatever I missed.
Yeah, my camera's not behaving tonight, so I literally just used some of my wrapping tape to fix it temporarily.
Oh.
Anyway, so
And then duct tape it
yes. You know what? I'm from Indiana. We love some duct tape around here. Don't judge.
Steven, I'm from Vermont. The motto is if you can't duck it, fuck it.
I'm from
Okay.
Oklahoma,
Duct tape,
and
that would
duct
be.
tape is just a feature of all buildings here. So.
Hey, cool.
It actually shows up on clothes a lot around here. You see a lot of boots held together with duct tape.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I remember back in high school, people started making duct tape wallets and backpacks. That was fun.
I remember that trend. Anyway, you guys did a great job, and you guys did make it to the pumpkin carriage once again, which is the inn that you were staying at. So you are safe.
That's
You are
right.
capable of getting a long rest if you so desire, since some
Yes,
of you
please.
were hashtag
Yeah.
struggling.
Absolutely need to.
Yeah. And with that, we're going to play the intro for Quill and Sword. Welcome back. Okay, so as all of you find yourselves finally at the restful embrace of the Pumpkin Carriage, the inn where you were staying, anyone who wants to may take their long rest. Anu, you actually trance, so you only do 4 hours.
Okay.
So, what would you like to do for those other 4 hours?
Eat.
Eat. Okay, are you going to trance before or after you eat?
Well, I'll do before.
Okay, so you eat before. You are served by this tavern keeper. Once again, this big human dude. He's balding on top. His daughter is playing right now. You can tell she's a little bit drunk because the music is not amazing, and it seems there's another bard in the corner just trying to pluck along to kind of cover up what she's doing a little bit without sounding necessarily dissonant. And he provides you with a chicken-based soup, though, truth be told, he keeps looking out the windows. There was a decent panic out there. Is there anything to do with what happened earlier?
What happened earlier?
With the raid and the soldiers that were coming in and chasing all of you? It was only earlier today.
Right, raids, soldiers. Ugh. Probably.
Seems like it's rather chaotic out there right now. The soldiers are telling everyone to go to their homes.
When aren't they telling people what to do?
That's fair. Anyway, here, have some of this chicken stew. It will warm you up. I know that the first snow is just starting.
Gross.
What about your friends? Do they want something to eat or drink?
They want to sleep.
Want to sleep. All right. Well, I will make sure you are undisturbed. Next question. Who are all those people you brought in with you that are standing over there?
Oh, we found them wandering around.
Is that one? She bears a strong resemblance to the queen, and that dress is very uncommon.
Yeah, she found that.
Make a deception roll. This is a really high DC.
Oh, deception is not one of my strong suits. All right.
Gee, if only you had someone that could use their reaction to encourage you or someone help you.
Wait, am I down there or am I sleeping right now?
Well, right now I'm assuming you guys just sort of got here because she said she wanted to eat first before. So you can just make your way up to bed if you want or not.
Okay, well, I already changed my hit points as if I had received the long rest.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I'm in bed.
Okay, you're in bed. That's fine.
That's fine. I got
Nim
5.
was half dead. So.
You got 5.
Yeah. It hit 20 and then flipped, and I was like, oh.
Oh, I hate that. That's the worst. Yes. Okay, so he looks at you, looks at her, and he says, I don't know what you're pulling, but whatever's happened is very big, and I will just question you later. And he just sort of gives you this very skeptical squint and kind of like keeps it on you as you're eating. Just like occasionally you catch him giving it to you when he thinks you're not looking. And most of your people just kind of curl up in the common room. And he sort of nudges you at one point. So, do you need more rooms or...
Oh, they'll literally sleep anywhere.
Right. It does cost to sleep in the common room. So whose tab shall I be putting it on?
Oh, yeah. Yes, mine.
Stephen?
I'm the only one awake.
Since I'm going to assume that I was probably meandering my way to bed as opposed to beelining it like Nim was, I would like to say that I am overhearing this and sort of step in on the conversation.
Okay.
So, how many rooms are there left in the inn, and what is the cost for the night?
Well, it is 1 gold piece per room per night. There are currently, and he pulls out this logbook and starts thumbing through. 32 rooms available.
Okay, Stephen, how many people did we come away with?
I think you came away with 20 something. I want to say it was like 22.
Oh,
but that counts children in there and stuff too, so they're not all adults.
So, so if I could get another 11 rooms,
okay,
I'll drop the 11 gold pieces.
Well, thank you very much.
For that.
They are open and marked here, and he hands you these cards that he hands out so that you know which room is yours.
Okay, so I'm going to take those and approach the group. The queen gets her own.
Okay.
Angelique gets her own.
Okay.
Everybody else, if you are here with someone who you already know and are familiar with, I recommend doubling up. You need to figure out how you want to sort these. I do not want any children left without adult supervision. So even if you don't know kids, be prepared to just help us watch them for the night so that we can address this in the morning.
Make a persuasion check.
All right.
Or intimidation if you'd rather go that route. I'm not sure how Wisp is feeling at the moment.
Well, I'm more persuasive than intimidating anyways.
Okay. So Wisp is making nice.
22.
22. You know what? You can get all of the able-bodied adults are definitely willing to help with the children.
Oh, good. So, if everyone can find their way to their rooms, I need to crash. Normally I'd invite someone to space, but I really just need to actually sleep. This time, Your Majesties, and little bow and head up the stairs.
Okay. So you head up the stairs. Meanwhile, Nim, you I presume you have Giselle still.
Mm-hmm.
So you have made your way up to your own room. And you and Giselle are sort of just very exhausted. And as you're falling asleep, because it's really easy for you to fall asleep, Giselle will occasionally just poke you on the side a little bit. What happened to our friends?
Oh, they're downstairs. They're going to get their own room and it's going to be fine, but we just need to go to sleep.
And so she kind of just backs off a little bit and lays on her side on the bed. And then after a couple seconds, you feel another poke.
All right, Giselle.
I mean, what happened to them?
Oh, why were they so... Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes there are very bad people out there that they just don't like it that some kids have magic and they want to take it. And sometimes they do. And it's not good, it's not right. And I'm very mad that they did that. But it's why we have to be very careful about who we tell about magic. And that's why, that's why Ben brought you here to me. That's why we've been trying to keep you safe. And I'm going to make sure, I'm going to do my very best that it doesn't happen to you, because it makes me very mad that it's something that happens to kids. And we are going to see if we can fix them, because they should be your friends. They should have their magic too, and maybe, we can figure out how to fix it, take them to, a special kind of doctor that can fix it, and then you guys can all play together and everything will be okay.
Okay. Several seconds pass. Poke, poke.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes.
Mr. Ben said you were a good person.
Oh, well, that's very sweet of Mr. Ben. He was a very good person, too. Had his heart in the right place all the time. Very smart and always did what he knew was right, even if it was the hardest thing to do.
Are we going to see him again?
You know, I don't know. I hope so. You know, we might not see him anytime soon, or, you know, even here as we are now, but maybe sometime in the future we're maybe not on this earth as we know it, or, you know, maybe in a tavern. Who knows? But I think we'll see him again.
You mean like when we dream in the wild?
Dream in the wild? Well, I mean, maybe, yeah. Ben had magic too, so has magic too. Oh dear.
And she kind of gives you this worried look, like she doesn't quite understand, but something's registering.
You know what? I don't think Ben would want you to worry about him. You know, Ben wanted to make sure that you were taken care of, so you let Ben do the worrying. And right now, all we need to do is to worry about you, and that means you need to be taking care of Giselle, and that means getting enough sleep, eating the right foods, and making sure that you're only using your magic when it's a good idea to use your magic.
Mama said Mr. Ben was a good person and would help me with my magic.
Mm-hmm. Your mama was right.
If Mr. Ben likes you, then I like you.
Oh, well, I like you too, Giselle.
And she kind of like gives you a hug and snuggles in and falls asleep within like seconds.
Mm-hmm. I just put my arm around her and then start snoring, kind of like the sound of a chainsaw.
And you feel poke poke.
Oh, what's up, Giselle?
You're snoring.
I apologize. You know, the magic, it does something to the sinuses.
And you guys have a nice long rest. Wisp, are you doing anything else aside from assigning rooms and making everyone situated? I think you're muted, Nathaniel.
Oh, sorry. What does the queen currently look like she's doing? Is she doing anything active, or is she just like, had she headed to her room? What's she up to?
She goes to her room, and you see that she's limping and clearly trying to carry herself with more dignity than her condition will allow.
Okay.
And she does put a hand on your shoulder and says, "Thank you from the bottom of my heart."
Can we talk for just like a minute or two?
Of course.
Okay. Not out here. Your room, my room, whichever one you'd rather.
Please, it is really your room anyway. And she beckons you inside. And
okay.
Shuts the door. And then once she gets to the bed, she tries to maintain poise, but then sort of half collapses onto the bed. And you can see she has this gash on her leg that was just not readily apparent because it is like scabbed and like infected. You would recognize. Ah,
okay. All right. Well, all right. First, we're gonna take care of that. I'm gonna cast Healing Word on it, which I know won't do anything for an infection, but it should at least remove the immediate damage.
Right.
Or actually, hang on a second.
Lesser Restoration would do it, I believe.
Yes, it would, which I do have. All right. Well, actually, you know what? We'll skip Healing Word. We'll go right to Lesser Restoration.
Okay.
So I'm going to... Well, first do I have your permission to make contact?
Of course.
Okay.
This was a magical wound. Someone broke in, and Sean said it was an assassination attempt. He said that there was a grand coup planned by the lower classes.
I think he probably said a lot of things. Whether he believed them or not, I don't know, but it's moot at the moment. But just hold still. I'm going to make contact with the wound, and I'll cast lesser restoration on it.
All right, how does that look?
That is going to be sort of a warm, shimmering glow, just sort of off the palm of my hand that passes from my hand onto the spot where I touch.
Oh, thank you. That was bothering me tremendously.
I can imagine it was. Do you... This is probably not even possible, but you're here, and I'm going to ask, and I'm hoping that you will take this with the respect it is meant. This is the most I can manage right now. Do you know anyone who might know any possible way to restore those children?
And she looks down, and this is the first time you've ever seen her avert her gaze. I do not know. I know the horror stories of mages being abdicated, sometimes for their own good or the good of the populace. I do not know, truthfully. As far as any proper, polite scholars are concerned, it is permanent.
Okay.
Did
you know he?
What you wanted to hear?
Did you know he was using children?
No.
I want to do an insight check on that.
Okay.
Ah. What's my plus on that? I have no plus on that, so that's a 5.
She's hard to read. You're not sure if it's her training in politeness or the fact that she is clearly not comfortable enough around you to present as weak as she is, but there are things that are being withheld in some capacity, but she's a hard read to tell if that's a truth issue or if it's an issue of propriety.
Your Majesty, I am not going to tell you that you can or should trust me. Because, with respect, I don't know if I can or should trust you. Too much has gone on lately. But I want you to at the very least know that I want no harm to come to anyone who is not the cause of what has been going on. Not to those children, not to those people who are held, and hopefully not to you.
I agree.
You can trust me to the extent that you are being honest with me.
I'm aware. I don't know what you want me to say.
You don't have to say anything. I'm talking because I need to say it. And I need to know that you understand I'm not trying to deceive you and that I am being as blunt, probably to the point of bordering on rudeness, because I don't have the strength to be anything else right now.
Then know this. And her entire posture relaxes. I do not know what can be done about the children. I did not know anything of what Sean was doing. I knew that he told me that there was a cult within the slums and that it had taken over the minds of most others by magic or otherwise we did not know. I have come to believe that was probably a lie, to divert from what was going on here in the palace and to empty the guards. He told me to go to my chambers. He said it would be safe. And when I saw the harm that was being caused, I questioned him. He then had 2 people. I don't know who they were. They were completely covered, including their faces. They dragged me away. They said it was for my safety, but in truth, I don't know. That is all I know. Angelique was apparently kidnapped by this cult, but as I can see now, that was not true either. So I don't know what to believe either.
Well, I think the best thing for all of us to do right now is to get some rest. And I think if you are truly interested in trying to make amends for what's happened, I think the best place to start would be finding somewhere for those kids to be taken care of. And I understand that they may never be able to be cured, but to just not have them be alone and unattended.
Agreed. I will find somewhere. I would not abandon anyone if given the choice. Not
Thank you.
Even the least.
Thank you, Your Highness. Did you need help getting to your room?
Well, I believe this is where we are.
That's true.
I know it is yours technically because you paid for it, and I am forever grateful. It is one thing to be with someone who you have provided for, but to be the one provided for is a very different matter.
It's one I assume you're probably unaccustomed to.
It is. And she lays a hand on your hand, if you will allow her, and
I will.
she says, you know, I have come to believe that the only ones I can trust in this world right now are my Motley Few. Where is Masquerade?
Masquerade split off dealing with some other stuff before we got to the palace. We'll see them again, I don't doubt, but we haven't had the time to try and regroup yet.
I see. Well, then I hope that you regroup quickly, because I miss them just as much as I missed all of you. Though there is no palace right now, I will tell you when I choose where I will go next with Angelique. I know that would be very important to them to know that.
Yes. That's probably going to be the first thing they'll be asking as soon as I see them again.
Yes. She has told me that Masquerade means a great deal to her.
And I can tell you that Masquerade cares very much about Angelique.
Well, then, if you would excuse me, I would like to rest and contemplate, with what little rest I can get, what my next step should be. Without a palace, there is no seat of power, and it would be ripe for any enemies of Foray to encroach.
There's only so much we can do tonight. There's certainly only so much you can do on no rest.
This is true.
This will all still be there in the morning, and it'll still be there after a hearty breakfast. So one step at a time.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I will do a small bow and exit the room and go back to my own.
Okay. So, Anu, you were trying to trance. What are you trying to trance about? What are you trying to see?
Nothing in particular. Just I'm gonna let my mind wander into whatever it sees.
Okay. Make a religion or an insight check then.
I'll do insight. Just garbage today. 9.
9. Okay. So, you go to rest. Close your eyes in whatever location you deem fit. And
my room.
Your vision briefly goes dark as you close your eyes. And when you open them again, you find yourself standing in the snow. Not a blizzard, but just swirls of flurries kind of tornadoing all around you. You see others wearing similar armor as to you. It is stained green, and it has this strong metal sheen that it's almost like a mirror. It's very, very ornate. It has gold filigree all over it. You carry a sword on your back. And you see that your allies are not only other elves, humans, dwarves, a gnome. You see a halfling with their feline features coming through underneath this helmet. You see what looks like maybe a centaur. At first you mistook it for someone riding a horse. And all of you are looking upward. And in the sky, you see a ring over a mountain. And the ring looks identical to the ring over the Varisian Palace. And as you watch at this event unfold, you see it sort of explodes, and this armored centipede body starts spreading over the sky. And you hear your comrade shout, "To war!" And you see this green flaming bird swoop overhead from a castle behind you. And you have the sensation that this is in the past, but there's also something in the pit of your stomach that says that something like this could happen again. And as you find yourself charging through the snow towards the miles-long monster that has appeared, you awaken. And you find yourself once again in your room. The dawn is just breaking through your window. And you can smell frying bacon and eggs. There's a lot of spices at play in all of that. And you can even hear the loud percolating of coffee.
That smells fantastic. I'm gonna go downstairs and get me some meat.
All right. Does Nim rise early, or does she sleep in?
She's an early riser.
Okay. So Nim, you probably woke up right around the same time. Wisp, do you wake up early or late?
Normally late, but I feel like it would not have been the most restful night's sleep in the world, so...
That's fair. So all of you sort of converge on these stairs, and you see the innkeeper is currently preparing a lot of food because he suddenly has a plethora of guests. Good morning.
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 I smell coffee, and that would be amazing right now.
Oh, yes, of course. Just a moment. And he turns to this enormous pot that's boiling on what looks like a stovetop, but it's lit from a fire underneath that's also doubles as an oven. And he just ladles some out, and it's kind of like tea. And so he pours it into another device, and you can kind of press it down to get the grounds out and still pour the liquid. And he gives the three of you one of these to share, but we'll refill it when you want. And then he presents you with 3 large plates. Each one has a curled pastry that is buttery and flaky, as well as a set of 2 sunny side up eggs and a slab of thick bacon with all sorts of herbs and spices all over it. And the whole thing is still sizzling hot, and the aromas are just hitting you like a whole ball in themselves.
And it's hitting me right now.
Right?
So I will take the plate and take my plate and meander over to a table.
Okay. And you can find that most of the tables are open because many of the people you led here are just sleeping in.
Fair.
You do see Angelique is sitting in a corner booth by herself. She looks haggard and like she got no sleep.
I am going to approach her and gesture to the bench across from her, like, may I, or am I intruding?
Oh, no, please. And she waves you in and sort of holds her head.
So I'll slide into the seating. Yeah, I've had mornings like that too. Have you had coffee yet? It usually helps.
And she sort of slides the mug, and you see that it's already empty. And she's got like 2 more mugs that are off to the seat next to her on the bench.
Good girl. It's a solid way to start.
Yes, I can't eat anything. It is a lot to process.
I know it is, but I'm going to break part of my pastry off and hold it out for her. You're going to process a lot better if you're not hungry. And I understand you don't want to, but I am not going to stop holding this in front of your face until you take it from me and eat it.
And she sort of snatches it a little bit and then like gives you this like I am done with you look that melts into a smile. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You remind me of Masquerade so much sometimes. Where are they?
Back here soon, I hope. I'm not stalling. I'm not trying to cover for anything. I genuinely don't know precisely where they are right now. No. They split off with that narc, whatever his name was, and they were dealing with some other stuff while the 3 of us went to the palace. So, waiting for them to come back so we can all regroup. So when I tell you that at this particular moment, I don't know. I'm not covering for anything. I'm not hiding. I don't know.
No, that's fine. They promised they would always come for me.
And they will. And had it been possible for them to be there last night, they would have been. Honestly, they probably would have shoved me out of the way.
No, that's what worries me.
I know they're very strong-headedly dedicated.
They're very aloof.
But they have a good head on their shoulders, and I trust their judgment and their ability to get back to you.
I do too. It's just before all of this happened, before I was named the heir of the Queen. Before they joined all of you, we hadn't been apart but a few days at a time, ever. We are like siblings. And that is something you don't just let go of in the night.
Well, I would say it's presumptive of you to assume that you would have to let it go. You need to adjust. Yes, they're not there every day, but they're not gone.
I know that in my head, but it is something I've always dealt with, I suppose. Masquerade always tells me I need to not worry so much, but it is hard not to worry. Especially when a great many things seem to be going wrong all around you.
Well, as someone who has been told that they don't worry enough, you can go too far in the other direction.
I know. And truth be told, some days it's just, it comes and it doesn't leave. And that's just what happens for the day. And you just smile and move on. That's what you must do, right?
Yes, but I find, for whatever it's worth, the best thing to do is to focus on something that you can accomplish that day. And I think today the Queen could probably use a hand sorting out accommodations for these people, and especially the children.
I'm sure. That would be a good thing to do.
For all the eccentricities that I bring along with me, one thing that I find for myself is that I can say is probably in my best interest is I am never bored or lacking for things to do. When you don't have something to focus on, when you don't have a task, that's when the thoughts get the loudest. That's when the doubt gets the loudest. And if you can keep busy, I can't promise you it'll go away, but it'll get muffled because you're not giving it your attention. You're giving something else your attention, something more deserving of it.
That's fair. Thank you. What of your friends? And she looks over to Anu and Nim, who you guys have just been given your plates. Are you guys joining in the breakfast, or are you going to be taking a table elsewhere to speak privately, or do you want to do something else?
Do I have Giselle with me since we shared a room?
Yes, Giselle is currently in the bedroom still because she's sleeping in. She is not an early riser.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Well, I'm going to go over there to, not to listen in or anything, but just because, I want to be as comforting as I can, especially to Angelique, just knowing that how they feel about Mask or how she feels about Mask, and to kind of be there as kind of a comfort Nim, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I wandered over just to listen.
Okay, that makes sense. That sounds like you. Hey, what you doing? So yeah, you hear Wisp just getting done giving this advice to Angelique, and she looks over at you two. Thank you again. Without you, I would be dead. It means a lot to me that all of you came.
We'll think nothing of it. You would do the same for us. And honestly, Mask is one of our very good friends, and we know they would want us to take care of you. And so that's what, we're just here, and, just don't even worry about it, and just enjoy your breakfast. And I noticed that you had quite a bit of coffee, and I think maybe you need more than just a crusty pastry in addition to that. Just maybe a little bit of protein, perhaps, or a fruit, something, just for health reasons. We don't want Mask to worry while they're gone.
That's fair. Thank you. And she will take what you offer. Her gaze often sort of drifts to the hearth that's crackling with fire, as though she's got other thoughts on her mind. And she sort of pauses, looks out the window and points. The first proper snow.
Gross.
Gross? You not a fan of snow, Anu?
No. It's wet and cold.
Oh, well,
You have feet, that's the problem. If you had hooves, it wouldn't bother you so much.
That's fair.
you know, the Queen did ask me to speak with all of you. Her Majesty, she told me to tell all of you that with everything that's happened, the kingdom is likely going to be thrown into chaos. And she would like all of you to help mitigate that as best as you can. With everything that's happened, many powers are going to try and take control where they do not have it. Many more are likely going to not know what to do in the chaos, and with these rings appearing, already I'm hearing whispers that there are Umber spawn showing up as north as Genoard.
Here's the question that I would want to ask the Queen. So, Angelique, if you're able to answer that, this would be fantastic. I guess it's two questions. Where are the people most likely to turn to for comfort or guidance with the palace gone? And if it is not the same place, where would the Queen prefer they be turning to in the absence of the palace?
Many will be looking to the Oxion temples for support. The Scriptoriad, the Inquisition, the Church of Creation, you know, all of those places. The religious bodies.
Yeah.
There are things in place to allow for religious leaders to step in during times of contention, we shall say, until the throne is reseated.
So, okay, so there's things in place for that to happen. Is that a good thing or is that a problem with the current religious leaders involved?
I suppose it depends on your perspective. The fact is, every religious body is very different because the Oxion themselves are so different. But the fact that it is a council of 8 is much more stable and safer than a single entity holding all the power.
Okay, so that's good at least. There isn't a really, not to say someone won't try, but there isn't an opening for one person just to sweep in without disrupting the system.
Yes.
Okay. That's something. That's good. Doesn't mean there won't be that as a problem, but it means that it's going to cause ripples when it does, because it's not what's supposed to happen. So it's not gonna happen under our noses.
Right. Honestly, from what Her Majesty said last night when she saw that I was still awake, she said that her main concern is to help the impoverished and those who are much smaller, less noticeable, those in the countryside and those of the smaller towns, because, well, they're the ones who are often slip through the cracks during wartime, and what is this if not a war? And she said that perhaps all of you would be the best ones to deal with that.
If she has a sense of what the best next step in accomplishing that is, I think we're all ears.
Well, do you know much about the Umber Horde?
I don't know, Stephen. Do I?
Give me a religion check or history, your choice.
Okay.
Any
Should
one
we
of
all
you
do
can
that?
actually. Any one of you can make this.
I've got a +8 in history, so I'll take a shot at that.
+8.
I got a 14, so.
So that is a 19. I'm sorry,
19.
17.
17.
17.
I got an 11.
11. So Anu, you know that the Umber Horde are monsters. They are undead creatures, so they can actually make new ones out of the dead, which is kind of terrifying because the more they kill, the more they add to their own numbers.
Yeah.
You know that they corrupt individuals and that even their blood is corrosive. That's about the extent of what you know. Nim, you know as well that they, in addition to all of that information, you know that they tend to be primarily popping up in Elridia, or at least that's been the case for a long time because it's kind of the central point in the southern hemisphere. And since that time, there haven't been a lot of encroachments outside of Elridia. There have been pockets here and there, but nothing major. But now with the rings, who's to say, right? And Wisp, furthermore, you know that the Umber Horde are associated with Crom. And that Crom, being one of the 3 eldritch evils, is associated with gluttony and hunger. And so, as a result, the Umber Horde eat and consume. Those that they don't turn into their own number are usually eaten for food by them. And they just never stop hungering. They never stop eating. And they are extremely dangerous and scary for that reason.
Oh, great. I know a bit more than I would like to about them. Your Highness?
Undead Lucas.
So, the Queen is concerned about them?
Yes. Even if they are only rumors, it would be nice to know that they are only rumors and that there is no substance to them. Because if we are on the verge of an incursion by the Umber Horde, we will need all of our forces at their top condition and prepared for what is to come. Perhaps contacting even, while currently disgraced, the Order of the Jade Lotus might be able to be contacted to help with them. Though, who's to say if they would be willing? They're more defunct than anything at the moment.
Well, the list of support we currently have is short, so, kind of take what we can get. So if we were to look into those rumors, where would you recommend starting?
Perhaps the farmlands outside the borders of Dorian. That way we would know how close it is, and even just getting more information from the common folk would likely be more reliable further away from the city than in the heart of gossip and intrigue.
Fair point. Sorry, Your Highness. Random thing. Before I forget, can I have my dagger back?
Oh, but of course. And she gives you back your dagger.
Thank you. I trust you can, at this point, you can probably secure your own if you feel you need one.
Oh, I'm certain. Frankly, all I would like to secure at the moment is a peaceful night's sleep. But I don't foresee that happening soon.
Well, not after all that coffee.
But at any rate, I will do my best. I will go to my room and try to get whatever semblance of rest is findable. Here. And she takes off this ring and she slides it over to you, Wisp, since you're the primary one that's been talking with her. This is my signet ring. You can use it in the town to buy anything you should need. In particular, she glances out the window, Warmer clothing may be required since the winter is coming.
Fair point.
While we have it milder than other places and snow is not incredibly common this far north, it still might be nice to get something a bit heavier.
I will take the ring. Thank you, Your Highness.
My pleasure. And thank all of you. I really do appreciate you.
Just out of random curiosity, Stephen, just because I'm slightly in a paranoid mood as a player, are there any symbols on her signet ring that I recognize, or is it just like a house crest or something?
Well, you're a bard, so I would imagine you just know the different crests being from living in Voiray for so long. This is just the signet crest for the second to the queen. So it is passed down to princes, princesses, whoever is considered the next in line for the throne. This functionally will get you anything you want on the tab of the government.
So noted.
Well, everywhere that will honor the government, that is. So, like, you couldn't take it to another country and use it.
Damn.
You could try.
Alright. So I'll, at this point, I'm just going to tuck into my breakfast.
Okay. So all of you can get a good hearty breakfast, and then does anyone want to do anything, talk to anyone, get anything situated?
I want to make sure that there's some food and drink offerings with kids in mind, so like juices and milks and not just coffee and stuff like that.
Right.
And I want to see about the possibility of maybe getting like pancakes that have a bacon smile and like 2 strawberries for eyes or something like that.
Make a persuasion check.
10?
So he looks at you, looks at what he's got, and he's like, feel free to try to make it yourself.
Absolutely.
And so he will pay attention to see if he can learn. But go ahead and do you have proficiency in cooking tools or cook's utensils? Okay, you have disadvantage on this roll.
I can cook.
You can cook?
Yeah.
Are you helping?
Yeah, let me help.
Okay. So maybe we'll let Anu take point on this. So Anu, you have cook's utensils, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead and give me your choice of a perception, a history, or a sleight of hand, depending on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to focus on just how it tastes and not really using a recipe? Are you using your historical cultural knowledge to make something specific? Or are you trying to do everything with a little razzle-dazzle and flair?
Well, I definitely don't have enough for history. Let me see. Razzle dazzle and flair. Yeah, I want to make it fantastic.
Okay. So make a sleight of hand check.
Come on. Dice being a little bitchy.
And you do not have disadvantage because you have cook's utensils. 12. So it's pretty easy to make pancakes with a bacon smiley face. Pretty quickly, Anu manages to wrap out some decent pancakes that have little bacon smileys, and there's even eggs for the eyes. And so it's like a full, complete breakfast, and there's like a little apple slice nose. It's really quite good.
Nicely
and very
done.
friendly. And the barkeeper will sort of look at you, Nim. Listen, I cannot help but have overheard a little bit of your conversation. And I would be in bad faith and bad conscience to not express my concern as a father. However, my daughter turned out, and he sort of like glances to the woman snoring in the corner that has a bottle still halfway in her hand.
Anything left in that bottle out of curiosity?
Nope, nothing left in the bottle though.
Okay. All right. You know, I was going to take it from her for her own good, but you know, if it's too late, whatever.
Of course you were.
What? I'm altruistic.
Wisp the humanitarian. So Nim, he looks at you and he says, it seems to me that you are on the road towards a dangerous place. Somewhere that perhaps a child does not belong. And I am not going to infringe on your own parenting if that is your child. But I will say that if you need a safe place for her to stay and to occupy her time and herself while you go out doing your own work that is apparently quite necessary given the state of the city, as I've heard it just this morning, I would be happy to watch over her until you return.
Well, that's a very fine offer, sir. What do you know about gifted children?
And he grins. He looks at the one in the corner and he says, she may not look it, but she's special.
Special or special?
And he sort of does like this, special.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, Giselle is, she's spirited. She's young. She's young enough to have far too much energy for just the size of her body, honestly. I feel like she eats, a slice of apple and then can run for 4,000 hours, and it's very exhausting. But,
a fiery personality.
A very fiery personality, if you understand our meaning.
That's her type. I see.
Yeah. But honestly, if you put her in the kitchen and, gave her the task of maybe lighting the fires on occasion, she, with a little bit of structure, she's pretty non-destructive. But, you do got to watch out for that spirit. It's an ever-present, thing.
I will tell you this about little girls. The fact is, it does not matter whether it is magic or mayhem. They will always find their way into something. And at some point, you just have to teach them right and trust them to do well.
Well said. Well,
sometimes they may make their own bad choices. And he once again eyes the one in the corner. But they should be allowed to make their own mistakes.
That's very true. That's the only way they learn. Well, if I think this might be a good idea, because while I do appreciate her skills, I feel we're going into too much danger for her, and I don't think anybody would look for her here.
That I would agree with, because no one hardly ever comes here. In fact, this is the most business I've had in a day all year.
Well, I will say that that's a shame, because this coffee is delightful.
Thank you. But if you like, feel free to talk with your companions or whatever. I don't know whose child she is properly. I assume, because she is not a faun nor an elf, that she does not belong to the other two, but who am I to say?
Well, I'm mostly just a caretaker, for now. But, with the state of things, who knows? I might become the full-time guardian. It's very stressful. There's a lot going on, and people are lost. And well, I'm sure there's no way you don't know anybody that's missing at this time, I suppose.
Yes, these are dark times, and I'm aware that people like all of you, people who bring the queen into my inn on a random night when the entire kingdom is falling apart, likely have many important things to help many people, and the last thing you should need to worry about is your child going to be safe while you are saving the lives of others?
Mm-hmm. Well, we thank you very much. I'll talk to my companions. I think they'll agree. I will say, what are your cake stores like? In that, I do believe that is the only thing that does motivate Giselle to do the right thing currently.
Well, I can only make one type.
Well, what kind?
Chocolate.
Oh, that's perfect. We're fine. This is great.
But I did make that one a chocolate cake every year for her birthday, and I still do. So, should not be too difficult to whip up.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for whatever it is you're going to do that is clearly above my pay grade.
Well, if we're being honest, it might be above ours too, but it has to be done.
This is fair. Well, would you like to tell her, or shall I?
I'll tell her, but I'll talk to. Let me talk to Anu and Wisp and Angelique and the Queen first. I think. I don't know. Who am I supposed to tell? I suppose. I don't know. I guess it's just strange being kind of at the top of the hierarchy. Not quite the top. I'm not the queen, but I do have the ability to make decisions. This is something that has not happened often. I mean, I have made decisions. You know, I do take care of children quite often, and I do feel confident making those decisions. But this is something new when it comes to making decisions for other adults as well. And oh dear. Okay. I might need another cup of coffee if you don't mind.
That is absolutely fine.
Sound like you don't need one.
So, yeah. The innkeeper has made that offer, but you can do as you please.
I'm going to go talk to Wisp and Angelique about this offer and see how they feel about the innkeeper.
All right. Is Anu still over there?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So my initial reaction to that would be, if he was going to turn us into not nice people, he would have done it well before this point. And I think it probably is a good idea for Giselle to be watched separate from wherever the rest of the children are arranged to be, if for no other reason that I really do worry that her being around them any longer than she already has been is going to bum out, depress, or damage her.
Mm-hmm. My one concern is not necessarily for Giselle, but it's for this fine innkeeper that is running this establishment that is doing quite well when it's not on fire.
It's at least from how you told it sounded like he is as aware as one person's gonna be, and he didn't back off. So
that's true. That's true. And Giselle is getting better control. So
she is. So we're gonna have to try and make this as quick a jaunt as possible to try and minimize the amount of time she is left in his care. No offense to him, but I think it's, under the circumstances, probably the best idea.
Mm-hmm. And her skills would be put to use in the kitchen. Not that I'm saying that, children should labor, but I know that she does get a bit antsy if she doesn't get to light something on fire once a day, and
She can boil water. It's fine.
Okay. Anu, what are your thoughts?
I agree. And it's not like she won't be here with people who she's not familiar with.
It's true. Okay. Honestly, this goes against everything I used to believe, but circumstances have changed, and what used to count as responsible child caring is changed, I suppose. Okay, this is a lot, but I do think it's for the best, and I do think, she'll have access to cake. That's important. A good bed, food, a normal schedule. Probably no assailants. That's good. That's very good. Okay. I think we should.
I'm going to put a hand on Nim's shoulder and say, sometimes the best thing you can do for a child is utterly abandon them. It'll be fine.
When you say it like that, but also... But, okay. Okay.
One of these days, I will teach you how to have a sense of humor.
Oh, I don't think we have time. That's okay.
Not at the moment, clearly, but the decade is young.
Oh dear. Okay.
Some of us have multiple lives to do it.
So, are you guys going to go shopping on the Queen's credit, or are you wanting to just head straight out to the outside the city walls?
We're gonna go shopping on the shopping on the Queen's credit.
Okay, so comfortably, each of you can spend up to 100 gold. However, if you want to spend something more, you will have to make a roll for the shopkeeper to believe that you haven't just stolen that in the chaos.
What kind of shops do we have access to? I know that like there's chaos going around. Can we go functionally anywhere, or are there some shops that we don't have access to right now?
So there is an armorer, there's a weaponsmith. Basically anything outside of livestock you're going to be able to comfortably find within the city that's in the player's handbook.
I was gonna get a cow.
However, it is worth noting that the guards have been patrolling the streets fairly regularly, and when you walk outside, you do see there's an accumulation of snow now. And you see that the remains of the crumbled and decimated castle looming over the city are still smoldering and smoking. It is not a pleasant sight, and rather stark contrast to all the streamers and whatnot that are lining the streets between buildings.
I think personally I'd like to start with a weaponsmith.
Okay. So, if you guys want to roleplay it out, you are welcome to, or you can just spend up to 100 gold. And if you want to spend more, let me know, and we can go from there.
Well, I don't know what I'm liable to find. I'm not sure I want to necessarily roleplay it out, but I don't know what my options are for purchases.
Anything that is in the player's handbook under equipment.
Right. Thank you.
Yep.
I gotta look stuff up then.
Player's handbook.
I know personally that Nim wants to find some sort of cloak that will make her look more like a mysterious adventurer, because she wants to fit in more and maybe have something that it wouldn't necessarily like make her better, it's just an article of clothing, but it would make her feel more confident.
Okay, sure thing. That's real easy to find, and you can find it in any color you want.
I want it to be in kind of just a very nondescript gray. Something that blends in easily, and something that, a color that many people wear. So if she's in a crowd, she puts the hood up and she's gone.
Okay. If you want it fur-lined for warmth or whatever else, that will be an additional 1 gold piece.
I would like fur-lined because we got the snow coming down. It seems like winter is coming.
Okay. Someone in the chat said Nim wants to cosplay as an adventurer.
That's exactly what Nim is doing. I would also like to buy some warm boots that are good for hiking purposes.
Okay.
Because Nim has some really cute city girl shoes, but...
Cloak with the fur. Oh, I've got that song stuck in my head. Good job, Gozer. So, anyway, anything that you want that's fur-lined, it's going to cost 1 extra gold from what the player's handbook says for a common item or a fine item, depending on what you're getting.
Okay, let me pull up that information.
But the fur-lined things are going to help you if you end up having to go in the cold. So, as you guys are doing that, I will kind of lay out for you. There are 3 main options that you have as far as where you can go to look into this. You can go out to a farmstead outside the city, and you can look into the rumors about the Umber spawn out there. You can travel to the slums outside the city, which is primarily reserved for the Dark Elven population, who can't even afford to live in the slums of the main city where you were before. And they also have been calling out for help for monsters in the woods nearby, but they can't really deal with them because the guards are kind of preoccupied with the exploded castle and whatnot. And then there is also a small village that is about half a day's travel south of Dorian, if you want to look into that village and see what's going on. It's a village that you could have branched off and traveled to when you were coming back up north to Dorian previously. So do you want to go to the farmstead, the slums, or the village?
I'm a little torn because Angelique and presumably the Queen's desire was for us to start with the farmstead. My own natural inclination is to tend to the slums since they're kind of been abandoned otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. I don't know which is the worst thing to leave until later. I think either one's going to bite us in the ass.
Well, welcome to Dark Fantasy.
Mother. Yeah, I don't know. Those are my general thoughts. I don't know if anybody else wants to toss something in there.
My
Anyone else want to
thoughts.
weigh in?
My thoughts would be to help the Dark Elves if my my trance has anything to do about it. I feel like the more people we help, the better chance we have for whatever's to come.
So it's say our options one more time. I'm sorry.
Okay, there's one farmstead in particular, but there's really like a group of farmsteads that are all dealing with the same problem. So you can go to this one farmstead to deal with their problems. You can go to the slums outside the city, which is basically just a collection of shacks on the fringe of a forest to deal with the monster in the forest, quote unquote. Or you can go to a nearby village where they're claiming to have their own problems and they suspect it may be the Umber Horde. So which of those do you want to take?
I feel best about the farmstead, the first option, but also I Nim goes with the group.
Okay. So what about Wisp? Wisp hasn't really weighed in yet.
My inclination, or Wisp's inclination, is going to be to go to the slums first because that sounds like a problem that has already broken out. Whereas the farmstead is going to see if there is a problem, which there may or may not be yet, or even if there is, it's on the outer edges. Whereas if something's going on in the slums with the Dark Elves, then it's already here and already an issue that's not being addressed.
Okay.
So I feel like in terms of immediacy, that should probably be dealt with, or at least investigated first to figure out if it does need to be dealt with now.
Okay. All right. So 2 for the slums, 1 for the farmsteads. So slums it is?
Slums it is.
All
I mean,
right.
Nim has her boots and cloak. She's cool.
All right. So just because I will need to know, how many of you are wearing warm clothing, like fur-lined clothing?
Is this medium armor?
You can get medium armor fur-lined. It would require a gold piece to buy something, a gold piece extra from the base cost to get it fur-lined.
I'm just making, because there's like, I'm looking at the thing here. I'm trying to avoid the ones with disadvantage to stealth.
Right.
So all they got is breastplates.
So I'm thinking I probably would have picked. Oh, actually, first of all, remind me: is the repair job that was done on my Dancer's Glamour leather armor, was that permanent or was that temporary?
So the buff was temporary, but as it faded, you found that while it's not quite as aesthetically pleasing as it once was, that can be masked with the glamour itself. And it seems that it mostly repaired it so that it does work again and it doesn't have that negative armor class.
Okay, so it is back to its previous...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm not going to want to replace that with anything. So I figure if I'm getting anything for warmth, I'm probably getting, a thick fur-lined traveling cloak to throw over it, not actually replace it with something else.
Right. And just to answer the questions in the chat, fawns have fur on their lower half, so like functionally that just means they don't have to wear pants if they don't want to, but it still like gets cold.
And I don't.
Hashtag natural pants.
So yes, hashtag natural pants. Let's make it a thing. So okay. You guys set out then toward the slums. It takes only about an hour to walk there. If you want horses, it will take less. It will take less time, and you will have to procure them.
Question.
Yes.
Can Steve handle multiple riders?
He can handle up to 2 riders comfortably. But Steve is primarily, like, he can also pull a wagon. So if you want him to pull a wagon, he can do that too.
Ooh. I reach into my pocket and I jingle my bells.
And we have jingle bells for the holiday. Perfect.
Oh, Steve! Steve, I have a question for you, sir.
And as you guys see Nim pull out these bells and jingle it, it carries on an echo through the streets, and this wind sort of swirls, and you feel the jingle bells pull out of your hand, and as it does, the snow around swirls into a cloud that you can't hardly see through, and then there is a big black Clydesdale wearing the jingle bells standing in front of you.
And so I turn around to Wisp and Anu and I say, I don't mean to put the cart before the horse, but what if we procured a cart?
On the Queen's dime, yes.
That was an attempt at humor. I'll allow it.
I am learning so many things on these adventures.
So I guess we're getting a cart.
Okay. So, yeah, you can find a cart, same price as in the handbook, no real issue. It's under vehicles, not equipment, just so you know.
Okay.
So
I can never find anything in the
whoever is
handbook.
wanting that, if you want, I can try to look that up super quick. Courtesy of D&D Beyond.
Mounts, tax, harnesses, drawn vehicles.
Yep.
Cart is 15 gold P, 200 pounds.
All right. So that means it can carry up to 200 pounds of stuff. And that's besides all of you.
Oh, so it's 200 plus us?
Yeah, it's 200 plus 2 riders. So it could just carry all 3 of you comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you guys make your way out with Steve carrying a cart. And now we are going to see if you have an encounter before you get to the slums.
Oh, that.
Oh, darn, no encounter.
Right, we need all of our strength for the slums.
Yep.
Right.
So, you guys eventually find yourselves pulling off of the main road and down this cobblestone path that hasn't been kept well, so the cart's bumping and it's very rattly throughout the ride. However, courtesy of the snow, it's a little bit smoother as the snow has already started packing.
Ooh, I lean over, grab a snowball, and throw it at Wisp.
Okay, make an attack roll. Are you proficient in improvised weapons?
I don't think so.
Then it's just a strength roll or dexterity, your choice.
Strength or dexterity? I'm gonna do dex. Oh, 22.
Oh,
22. So, Wisp, just in the back of the head.
very slow turnaround. Very narrow eyes. Oh, that's how we're doing, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
Nim did it.
Make a
we all
deception
know.
check. And Wisp, make an insight check. They're contested with one another.
Oh,
Senita, I see you eating this up.
I failed.
What did you get?
I got a 2.
That's what I got.
Reroll.
Meanwhile, Nim is just sitting with hands on her hips. Excuse me, you two. We are busy. This is a serious mission.
15.
5.
So I'm literally picturing like Anu going, Nim did it! And Wisp is like, and then they're just like having this stare off for a minute while Nim is just looking disappointed because you see through all of this, Nim. You know exactly what's going on. And eventually Anu's stare wins out and Wisp blinks first. And you realize, yep, Nim must have done it.
Expected better.
I just shake my head. You two, both of you, time out. If I could, I would.
And both of you, as you guys make your way in, Anu, you're really the first to notice. These shacks are what we would consider little better than plywood. They're just slabs of wood that have been loosely nailed together with poor quality nails. Everything here is even more decrepit than what you would expect or what you would find in the slums in the city proper. At least in the city proper, the buildings are mostly stone and they're just crumbling. But here, it's like they can barely even afford to eat, let alone keep their houses up. You see, their animals are, you know, they're a little bit malnourished, we'll say. Malnourished, you know what I mean. I can speak, I just don't act like it. You see children playing in the streets, enjoying themselves. Children are going to find ways to find joy in anything. They're throwing snowballs at one another. One of them, you know, was looking at you when you threw the snowball at Wisp, and so this child throws a snowball your way and absolutely doesn't hit you. It goes so wide, it's ridiculous. But yeah, you see just these several dark elf children. Honestly, Wisp and Nim, if you didn't know any better, it'd be real easy to mistake these kids for human. Their skin tones don't look anything like Anu's. Their skin isn't sparkly. Their skin is not in hues that are vivid. It looks human. In fact, their eyes don't light up. Their eyes look like human eyes. The only distinction is they have long ears. And some of them start laughing and dancing around Steve as they see this huge horse that's much bigger than anything they've ever seen. And an old man, and of note, he is quite old looking. He exits one of these buildings and shoos the kids away. No, go! Who are you? What do you want?
We heard you have a monster problem.
Who told you that?
Oh, these ears hear everything.
Well, those ears aren't welcome around these parts.
So you don't want us to help with the monster?
We want the crown who's responsible to help with the monster.
In case you haven't noticed, the crown crumbled.
Is that what happened?
Give or take a detail.
Well, I'm the elder here.
I'm not the elder here.
We're here to try and help, so you can give us the information so we can try and do that, or we can just leave.
No. He sort of bites his lip, looks at around, kind of scratches this stubbly white prickles he's got going on, this shadow. And then He just sort of like outlines the wrinkles on his face for several seconds. Like he's touching his face a lot, like thinking really hard. Fine. Seems they won't even come out and do their work for themselves. They'll send whoever you lot are.
The Motley Few.
Clearly. But, here, come in. If you've come to help, you at least deserve to be pulled out of the cold and given something warm to drink.
All for that.
I don't have much, but what I have is yours. And he invites you into the house he came out of, and the entire structure quivers just a little bit as he opens the door and shuts it when you all have entered. And you see a ramshackle house. There is a bed of straw with a blanket over it, and there is a tube of cloth that is also packed with straw. You see a small stone oven, and on top of the stone oven is a single pot that has something bubbling in it. He ladles things out into cracked cups, one of which actually leaks from the bottom, and hands them to you. And it looks like chicken broth, but very translucent chicken broth. Like it's not quite been steeping nearly long enough. And if you try it, it's not seasoned at all, needs a lot of salt, and it tastes mostly like the aftertaste of chicken and some water.
Yeah, big breakfast.
Yeah. So, whereabouts is the problem? How did it start? What can you tell us?
It starts at night. Every night when the sun goes down, our people are taken. Those who would go out to be our own watchmen. The guards don't even come out here and watch for us because we're not within the city walls. So we have to make our own watch. They've been taking our watchmen. At this point, we've only got 2 left.
Has anyone seen what they look like?
No one survived.
Oh.
We did have one body. The others are just gone. I can take you to the one body if you want, but you'll need a strong stomach for it.
Could you just tell us about the body instead?
I mean, are we talking torn apart? Are we talking eaten? Are we talking dissolved? Like, just bullet points.
The
I
neck
wouldn't
was
mind
ripped
looking at the
out.
body.
The neck was ripped open?
Yes.
That's very specific. Like, neatly or like with a tool or with claws or teeth?
Well, I don't rightly know. I don't have enough experience with ripped necks.
How jagged was the missing bit?
It looked like a wolf got to them.
Okay, so teeth.
But no wolf has a bite shaped like that.
Stephen, time-wise, how far out are we from it getting dark?
It's about noon right now, so you've still got a while.
Shit.
Your shopping excursion took up most of the morning, and you arrived here right around lunchtime, which is why he offered you some broth lunch.
Chicken water.
Yep.
He
He also pulls out some crackers that, if you bite into them, you can tell they're just made with flour and water, and that's about it. They're very close to saltines without the salt.
better than hardtack. So how long has this been happening? How many nights?
Well, we've lost 20 guards. So,
Nice.
So, about 10. Here's the thing. I don't mean to be rude. I really don't. And I'm sorry. I know very technically they would look at us like kin. He says that to Anu. Here's the thing. We've had to survive on our own out here for this whole time. We've been asking for help long before this happened. But now all of a sudden someone cares. And so it's a little hard to accept help from someone who, frankly speaking, doesn't even seem to know what they're getting into.
I've never known what I've gotten into, so you're just gonna have to roll with that.
Well,
look,
I'll accept it.
Hey, look. We're not who you want, and you wanted whoever you wanted to be here. You wanted to show up long before we got here. I get it, but we're what you've got. So you can take what you've got or not.
You make a good point. And frankly speaking, I never wanted to be the elder. I've only been the elder since our first elder was one of them that went missing. She believed in taking watch with everyone else. She was gone on the third night. I really am her second.
Question. You said there was only one body left, and the others have just been taken. When they've been taken, has there been, like, blood left behind? Serious signs of a struggle, or are they just gone?
Sometimes there's blood left behind. Sometimes there's not. One time, someone did a wound to it, and it leaked corrosive black blood.
Nice.
Looked like ink, but when you put stuff in it, it dissolved and it had the texture of syrup. Silver wasn't harmed by it at all.
Good to know. Yeah, I know it looks like ink. It's never ink. It's never that pleasant.
I've only been the elder for less than a week, about 7 days.
Has anyone... Okay, so I know no one's seen it. Has anyone heard it? Does it have a cry or a call?
Only the screams of those that it attacks. That's what wakes them. That's what wakes us up.
Silent but deadly. Okay,
Yes.
Got it. Oh. So, Steven, separate question.
Uh-huh.
The direction we had to go to hit the slums, was that like opposite direction we would have had to have gone to hit up the farm, or like...
So the farm is just further south.
So we're already kind of headed in that direction?
Yeah, and the village is like sort of... If you were to go to the slums, then the farm, then the village, it'd make an L.
Okay, so... How long would it take us to like just go check out the farmland and talk to whoever's there?
Well, it would take about half a day's journey from the city to get there, so you're looking at a few hours, like 3 hours walk. On Steve, you could cut that down to an hour and a half.
Round trip or one way?
One way.
Okay, so I'm going to turn to the other two. So, if this thing only shows up after it's dark, what? I don't know if winter time, like how short the days are, is same in this world as in ours. So like, how long do we have roughly before we'd expect it to get dark?
About 6 hours.
6 hours. Okay. So I'm not sure how much there is to learn here until like it's dark and we can try and actually deal with whatever the heck it is. I'm kind of inclined to hit up the farm. We've got the time, and with Steve, I think it's not too difficult to head down, ask some questions, and come on back before night.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think we need more information.
Yeah. Plus, I'm antsy, and this guy's bumming me out.
Right.
And I would like a different lunch.
I can hear
But
you, And he sort of taps his long pointed ears and then winks at Anu.
I am okay with that. Look, this isn't turning into an ideal day for anybody. We are going to come back. We've just got a lot on our plate, and if this thing only hits at night, there isn't a lot of point in us just hanging around until then.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, we will see you in a few hours, my friend, and I'll give him the finger guns.
All right. He looks confused, like he's not sure if he believes you. Well, safe journeys either way.
You'll get to ask us how it went when we come back.
All right.
I am going to dig into my cooking utensils and just take out some extra spices and put them on the table.
What's that for?
That. And I just wave at his cooking stuff. Trust me, it'll make your food so much better.
And I whisper, she can make pancakes, so she knows.
Oh, all right. Well, and he pauses for just a little too long, and then makes eye contact with you and says, "Thank you. Don't get too many gifts, especially not from those outside of our community."
Soul mood. I only get gifts now because I made it a point to visit other communities.
Not all of us have that luxury of just transplanting ourselves, young one. Enjoy it.
Yes, sneaky sneak.
Well, be safe. And now I get to do another roll to see if there's an encounter. Okay.
Oh, God, he's smiling.
There is no encounter.
It's got a little bit left. It's like, oh, battle. We'll see you next week, guys.
So the snow continues to collect. And it's starting to collect in drifts at this point as the big flakes start falling pretty steadily, enough that it's starting to get just a little difficult to see the road ahead of you, maybe like more than 20 feet. But you persevere towards the farmlands with this poor dilapidated road slowly becoming more covered up by the minute. You're leaving tracks in the snow behind you as you continue your journey. And you don't encounter anything that looks amiss, but then again, who would really want to be out in this cold? You see in the distance smoke. But it's not nice, white, welcoming smoke. It's the heavy kind, the thick kind, the kind that billows ahead. And you start smelling, wafting on the wind, the smells of decay. And as you crest a hill, you find yourself overlooking a small valley where a farmland is currently smoldering. No longer ablaze. You see cattle, horses, pigs, all manner of animals strewn about, torn up limb from limb, with chunks missing in their pens. And you see that the house itself is half collapsed. You see signs of jagged, barbed and serrated arrows as you make your way down towards this place. Blood splatters everywhere. You see dead bodies, dismembered, like they were running from something and were cut down. Commoners, most in the prime of life. And anyone who wants to can make a history check, or we'll also say insight, if you'd rather. And if you have proficiency with smith tools, then you have advantage.
That's a 12 on a history check.
12.
I got a 15 on a history.
I got a 22 on an insight.
Okay. Anu and Nim, you're aware that these weapons are not human-made. Not at all. And Anu, you see from the footprints in the snow, you can make out that whoever came left, but you know that stuff isn't human. What's more, you see that the footprints are not human. You see that the weapons aren't human, but what really kind of sticks in your brain is, if this is the Umber Horde, never before in recorded history have the Umber Horde been able to make weapons for themselves. So this could be something new.
Oof. Okay.
Wow. So, definitely something going on.
Definitely not human.
Mm-hmm.
It never ends.
Just more questions, not a whole lot of answers.
You hear a horse whinny from inside the barn, and it's cut short as you see the body of a horse breaking through the double doors of the barn, its head half severed from its body, and out charges this large creature, an ogre. It has long horns. It has these big hulking arms with long claws on the end. It looks like a corrupted, twisted minotaur. And as its maw opens, it spreads into 4 different parts with these teeth-lined rows on this petal mouth. And it screeches with this terrible "Ah!" And that's where we're going to cut it.
Well, shit.
I knew you were going to do that.
So, Christmas surprise, there you go.
Worst thing Santa could have given us, honestly.
Right?
And a combat in a barn.
Who pissed off Krampus? Come on.
This was not on my list, sir.
But yeah, so I hope you guys had fun. Thank you everyone for joining us. This was amazing and fantastic. We should be getting Robin back. If not next session, which is in 2 weeks, then for sure the session after that. So yes, we're so excited to get them back. Depending on what happens, we'll see if Doug is joining for this next little foray to wrap up a couple things or not. But either way, thank you everyone for joining. And until next time, happy holidays. And whether it's on the page or at the table, tell your story your way. Bye, everybody.